Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Andrea Waltz with Go for No or of Go for No. And I'm super glad to be with all of you this morning. It was so nice of Patrick to invite me, and I'm just really glad to be here with you guys. So anyway, good morning. And for those of you who are joining me from California and the West Coast, I'm sure you are trying to wake up and having your coffee. I'm talking today about Go for No. Here is the original copy of Go for No. You may recognize the book before you recognize. Oh, it's sideways. Here, let me fix that. How's that, Taylor? Thank you. I don't know. Is that better? And here's our new book, Go for No for Network Marketing. So I'm going to be talking to you guys today about changing the way you think and feel about the word no in your, oh, thanks, Taylor, in your business. And, we all have been taught and trained to live in a go for yes, good morning, Christine, a go for yes world. And believe me, go for yes, yes is ultimately what we want. But just to remind you, the subtitle of our book, Go for No, is yes is the destination, but no is how you get there. And so what tends to happen when you're operating with a go for yes mindset is you tend to avoid opportunities where you might have a chance to hear the word no. Now here's the interesting thing. Here's the interesting thing. We can't read minds and divine what people are going to decide, what they're going to do, and what they're going to spend, even though we would like to. Now, because we've been taught and trained to live in a go for yes world, what tends to happen is we think and we make assumptions about what we think people are going to decide, what we think they're going to do. And when we do that, we limit our opportunities. So, perfect example. Let's say that you go to a networking event. And you have conversations. This is kind of the go for yes mindset, okay? You have conversations with 10 people. And you come home and you're thinking, okay, I had 10 conversations with 10 people. I'm now going to call on all these people. And what you do is you set the business cards out with the 10 people that you met, and then you start analyzing. And you say, out of these 10 people, 5 of them, those conversations didn't go very well. I don't think that person was really interested in my product. I don't think they were really interested in having a coach. They just seemed, they're probably just going to be no. And so what you do is you take those business cards and you just set them aside. And now you have 5 left from your 10, right? And so now you start thinking, you analyze, and you take 3 of those cards and you say, I had decent conversations with these people. They seemed interested. They wanted to know more. They wanted to learn more, seemed interested in my story. But I really think that they are kind of like they're a maybe. They didn't seem super interested. I just don't know. So what you do is you set those aside, and now you have 2 of the 10 people that you had conversations with, and you call on them. And maybe they say yes, and maybe they say no. Maybe they join up right away. Maybe they want to use the product right away, or maybe they don't. I'm sure most of you, good morning everybody, welcome. I'm sure most of you have had a situation where you thought for sure that somebody was going to say yes, and then they said no. And I'm guessing some of you have had the situation where you were sure that somebody was going to say no, and then they said yes. So let me know if that has ever happened to you. And so what happens is, because we live in a go for yes world where we're always trying to figure out who's going to say yes, who's going to say no, we miss the opportunity. So I want to bring you back to our example of the 10 business cards. So you call on those 2 people. What about the other 8 people? That's what I'm saying, is that in order to really have a great go for no strategy, you want to actually call on those 8 people as well, because you don't know what they're going to decide. You don't know what they're going to do. But we've been taught and trained that failure is not an option. right? And failure is completely an option. Failure is part of the process. Yes and no go hand in hand. In fact, in our book, Go For No, I want to show you guys this little model. If you've read the book, little failure success model. The failure success model is something like this. Most of us, again, taught and trained that we're in the middle and failure's on one side and success is on the other, and we do everything within our power to move towards success and away from failure. Get the yeses, avoid the nos. We don't want to hear the word no. We want to hear the word yes. But we think we've been operating in this way where we see them as choices, like we can do one or we can do the other. And so what I'm saying to you is actually there's a new model. And the new model is that failure and rejection and hearing those no's is in the middle of the model. And the success that you're seeking and the yeses are on the other side of the quote failure, of the rejection, of the hearing the word no. But we operate with the old model in mind. Why do we do that, you guys? And I'm sure some of you probably will come up with some great answers as to why, but I will tell you, again, I'm just going to take everybody off the hook here and say that we have been all kind of given this idea that, we don't want to fail. We want to be perfect, right? We want to start our business and we want it to be perfect. We don't want to hear no. Most of us don't like rejection. So as I said in the very, very beginning, Go For No is something that I've been teaching now for almost about 15 years. It is a mindset. It is a strategy to intentionally increase your failure rate. And what I mean by that is to intentionally adopt that new model where you understand that failure, hearing the word no, rejection is part of the process, and that success is really on the other side, you guys. And I will also tell you this, right? The people in your company at the big annual convention who get the rewards, who get the accolades, who are celebrated, do you think that they are the type of people who do that example that I gave you in the beginning with the 10 business cards, and they go and then they take the 10 and they whittle them down to 2, and now they go, okay, I've got the 2 that hopefully are yeses, because I think they probably are. No, they hear no a lot. They move through, they understand that model, they understand the secret, they get that mindset. What they have learned to do is just move through those no's, just move through those failures and the rejection. They're not just go for yes people. They're not operating with just the go for yes mindset. They don't have any special powers where they think, oh yeah, I can walk into a room and I know exactly who's going to say yes and who's going to say no. They are not psychics, you guys. They don't have any special powers. So here's the deal. What they do have is they have decided that their dreams, their goals, their business, and their life is more important than the temporary sting of hearing that rejection, of getting that no. They have decided that it's worth it. They get it. It's part of the process. They understand the new model. They're going to move through those failures. They're going to get those rejections. And then the yeses are on the other side. The difference is they just don't know who they are, right? They don't know who they are. They don't decide. They understand they're not psychic. So they just do it. And they get surprised. Like you guys said, I saw a lot of your comments. It has happened where the people you think will say yes, say no. And the people that you think will say no, say yes, and you can't believe it. And then you think, oh, thank God I asked this person, right? Because I could have lost out. And so, great comments. I love your guys' comments. Gina, congratulations. You've gotten over the sting of rejection. So the mindset here is a big part of it. Now, there's also some strategies, and I'm going to teach you some strategies this morning. For those of you on the West Coast who got up early to hang out with me here, that's great, and I appreciate all of you being with me on a Saturday morning. This is great. It's super fun. I'm so passionate about teaching this, you guys. And one of the things, and I will post this in the group. I'm going to use this little cheat sheet. I've got this little card, 7 simple steps to learn how to go for no, and some go for no notes. So I will post that in the group in a PDF file that you can download and share. And so I want to use this as kind of my guide. One of the things that we say is that you can achieve virtually everything you want if you're willing to hear no often enough. Yes and no are not opposites. They are not opposite sides of the spectrum. They are really opposite sides of the same coin. You can't have one without the other. You want to just get yeses. You want to have no pain. You want everything to be great. Well, because you are not psychic, because you can't read minds, it's not that way. So when you avoid no, when you avoid failure, when you pick and choose and decide who you're going to talk to and who's going to say yes, you avoid all those great opportunities for yeses to fall into your lap. So the key premise to go for no then is to intentionally increase your failure rate, to intentionally go out and start hearing no more often. Now, a lot of people, when they hear that, they think, that's crazy. That seems crazy. I don't want to hear no. And they think, and what if I hear no, and that's all I start getting is I just get more no's and more no's. I can assure you that's not how it works. Here, if somebody calls you and they say that they're ready, they want to join your team or they're ready to, start the product, you don't have to hang up on them or anything, right? You go ahead and you take that order. So this is not about sabotaging yourself, okay? This is not about somehow sabotaging yourself and then you think, oh, that's all I'm going to get is no's. Here's the other interesting thing. I talked about the leaders who go out and they hear lots of no's in order to be successful. Here's what also happens as a byproduct of that, and it can happen for you as well. You learn. You learn so much. Great comments, you guys. You learn so much when you get those no's. You see, when you're avoiding no and you're just operating in that go for yes mindset, and so you avoid all the opportunity, you avoid the no's, then you never get a chance to figure out how to manage them, how to turn that no into a yes. So the leaders out there who have adopted the secret and who understand and use that new mental model, they take those no's and they figure out oftentimes how to turn those into yeses. So I want to give you an example here. Here's for those of you who hate rejection, who some of you, I know a lot of you are at different points in your life and in your mindset. Some of you have gotten over it and you're fine, you're great, and some of you are still working on it. But here's the analogy I like to think of when I get a no. When I get a no, I think of it as getting a gift. Now, if somebody gives you a gift, what do, right? You have to do something with it. You have to put it somewhere. You have to put it on a shelf, or you unwrap it and you put it on a shelf somewhere and you have to do something. So in the old, kind of the old paradigm, when you get a no, usually that's the time where you go like, okay, I'm sorry, and you run and you never call that person back. That's kind of that go for yes mentality. It's the sting and you don't like it and you don't do something with that. If you think of it like a gift and think, oh, I gotta know, what am I gonna do? So the first thing that you want to do is you want to react positively. There's a tendency from old programming to say, oh, I gotta know, oh, this is terrible, right? It just feels terrible. And sometimes you think things in your head, like you think, oh man, I got another no. I'm doing terrible. I do not have what it takes. This is not good, right? You reaffirm the negativity of that no. And so what you do in that moment is stay positive, stay up. Because in that moment, the person who just gave you that no oftentimes is expecting a bad reaction. They're expecting you to maybe be a little low or maybe even angry. Some people are like, I can't believe you said no to me after everything I've done and the samples I've given you and all of this stuff, right? But when you remain positive, the person sees, hey, it was okay to give you a no. And so when you go back to ask them for a referral, oftentimes they think, I don't mind giving this person giving my friends this person's contact information, because this person isn't a high pressure salesperson who's going to push people into, and they're going to get a yes at no matter what, they're gonna twist my friends and family's arms. So you get referrals better by reacting outwardly positive when you get that no. So remain positive. Now, so you've been given this gift. You remain positive. You just got a gift. Now you have to figure out what to do with it. And people ask me all the time, so what do I do? What do I say? How do you handle that no? And the answer is, you can do a couple things. One, you can say, wow, I'm surprised. I love that line, you guys. Just being surprised. I thought you were really interested in improving your health and fitness, or I thought you were really interested in making a little bit of extra money on the side. This seemed perfect for you. So just get curious. When you get a no, it's your opportunity to get curious and find out from that person, why did they say no? So you can kind of dig into it. Now, oh, thanks, Kimberly. Kimberly likes the gift concept. So there's that aspect to it, right? The other thing you can do in that moment, if you don't want to get curious, if you don't want to pry, and if you do get nervous, right? Sometimes people get a no and they get nervous, they don't know what to do, and they're tempted just to go, okay, well, thanks anyway, bye. Don't do that. Remember, you got a gift, you have to figure out what to do. You can say, oh, no problem. A lot of people, they're busy. I understand you're busy, this and that. Do you mind if I check back with you in 6 weeks to see if anything has changed? And get permission to follow up with them. A big, big part of Go for No has to do with persistence, and it has to do with following up with people who said no in the first place. Now, in order to do that, the best thing you can do is get permission to do that. If you don't get permission, you can still do it, but if in that moment, when you get that no, and you think of it like the gift, just turn it around and say, oh, okay, no problem, but let me, do you mind if I check back with you if anything has changed? Now we know this, right? I know all of you, and you can put this in the comments. I imagine that probably many of you have turned no's into yeses down the line because you followed up with people who said no in the first place, and you checked back with them. And then they finally decided, right? They finally decided they were ready. They had enough of bad health habits. They had enough of just making excuses. They were just ready to have that happen. Megan, all the time. Yes, so the no's are, follow-up is so crucial. Lauren, yes. So that is a great way to take those no's and really convert them. So it's not about, when people say to me, go for no sounds negative, I don't want to get nothing but no's. We're taking what is a reality. A reality, the no's are out there. Like, it would be really bad if I got on here and I told all of you, rejection is all in your head. There's no such thing, right? It doesn't happen. Of course it happens. So let's take a negative reality and let's turn it around and make it positive and make it powering, and figure out if this is our reality, if people are afraid of change, which we know they are, if people, they don't say yes the first time, then how can we best deal with that? How do we think differently? How do we act around those no's? And then here's at kind of the back end. Oh, you got somebody just said, Kimberly, you got somebody on board that signed up after 10 no's and thanked you for not giving up on her. That's great. So many great stories. Patrick, I said no multiple times. Exactly. Some of you did say no multiple times, right? And now you're out there, and so you get it. It's just the reality of the world. People oftentimes they're just scared. They're scared to make a change. So we're taking a negative reality and we're turning it positive, and we're turning it empowering for us. Now, one of the other, I said one of the other benefits to understanding this failure success model and intentionally increasing your failure rate is you get a chance to learn, right? You get a chance to see what are people saying? Are they What are the objections? What are the things that you hear? And you get better at managing them, and then you stop getting so many no's because you start to know what's coming. You almost know how to jump in and do what Richard and I call almost a preemptive strike. Like you can say, now I know a lot of people, one of their biggest concerns is XYZ, fill in the blank, and you can just handle that up front. So when you go for no, you are building not just your rejection muscle, not just your courage muscle, but you're building all of your skills, all of the stuff that people teach you when you go to conventions and you're at meetings and you're getting advice from leaders who are doing amazing things in their business. Well, you apply those skills when you're talking to enough people, you guys. If you're only talking to a couple people here and there who you're psychically divining, hoping that they will say, believing that they will say yes, then you never get a chance to really practice these skills. There's a quantity aspect to this, and that is to tell your story to as many people as you can, as fast as you can. That will get you to your numbers. I know you're all in this group to get to the next level, right? Well, that is all about telling your story as fast as you can. You got to tell your story fast, and you got to get skilled. And when you go for no, it gives you opportunity to practice all this stuff, to just learn how to respond to people, learn what people say, almost just practice. And I'll give you an example. One of the things that we have talked, Richard and I, advice that we've given to people in the past in relationship to people who are just looking for jobs, right? People who go interview. I tell people all the time, just go interview for a job that you probably won't get, like that you're just underqualified for, right? But look how you would learn. Look how you would learn how to interview for something that is maybe above you or crazy. I mean, just take some chances, right? One idea here is big no's. Go for big no's. Go for no's where you think there's no way this person is successful, they're making plenty of money, they would never join my business, blah, 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 right? We know all the mindset stuff that we tell ourselves. And just go out there and go for no, because that is the model. Remember, the old model, go for yes, figuring out who's going to say yes. It's just a bad way to run your business. It is the fastest way to mediocre performance, is to try to figure out where the yeses are. When you go for no, you let everybody have the opportunity to hear you out, to learn about your business, to learn your story, to hear your story and find out a little bit about you. So, I mean, that is the fastest way. That's the way that you fail your way to success, where you tap into the power of no and you just tell your story to more people. So Kimberly has a list of big no's, which is great. Don't let the fear of what you think this person will say to you, the no's that they will give you, stop you. You've got to tap into that and allow that person to say no for you. And you never know, right? You never know who that person knows. So the big no person that you haven't wanted to approach because you're just wanting to hear yes, so you think, I'm not going to talk to them. Well, who else do they know, right? They may find out that you are a coach, and now they're thinking, I know this person and they're cool because when I said no to them, they didn't freak out. All kinds of benefits going for no. So just to wrap up, I have just a couple minutes with you guys. I could talk about this stuff literally forever, but that might drive all of us crazy. But I love it because I'm super passionate about it, because I know that this is, so many great testimonials from people who use this and have gotten amazing results, you guys. So Priscilla, ask for more referrals when you hear no. You're welcome for the reminder. A little extra thing in our go for no notes here, which I will post in the group so you guys have these, and obviously I'd love you to share them. It'll help people. Having yes goals is important. We all have yes goals, right? You guys have goals for the number of people you want to add to your team, product sales, all of those things. Those are yes goals. Also, having no goals is critical. So having a goal, set a goal this week, for example, on Monday if you want, have a goal for the number of no's you are going to be collecting. So you may say 10, get 10 no's, get 20 no's. And it can be for anything, right? It can be 20 no's. You want to hear 20 people tell you no on the business opportunity and products, and follow up with people who've already told you no. Collect them from all different areas of your business, referrals, call the people that you've talked to maybe a year ago that you were like, they're, I haven't talked to them in a year, I'm embarrassed. No, just call them, take some chances, you guys. Make it fun. And that is a part of what setting no goals does, is it makes it kind of a game. It makes it fun. You don't get so hung up on every yes and every no. Carrie is working on 5 no's a day. That's great. That's pretty amazing, Carrie. You just go for it. One of my favorite stories is a really good friend of ours, Mike. He was a sales guy. He called us one time and he's like, you guys won't believe it. He said, I was driving home. It was like 5:30 on a Friday. And he said, and I had 9 no's of my 10 that I wanted for the week. And he said, I decided to call this guy that always told me no. He always kind of put me off. Yeah, Mike, next month. And he said, I decided to call him. And I just said, hey, I just wanted to touch base. I know you're probably not ready to sign up or whatever, but just wanted to touch base and see how things are going. And the guy's like, oh, Mike, I'm so glad you called. Yes, I'm ready. So let's get signed up. Totally not network marketing, but totally different thing. But anyway, he said yes. And Mike said, I couldn't believe it. Like, I was just trying to get my 10th no in for the week, and I ended up getting a yes. You make it a game, just make it fun. And that helps change, kind of as my final wrap up, you guys, the feeling part, right? We don't like to feel rejected. So sometimes I know it's hard when someone like me comes out and, oh, it's so nice intellectually, go for no, and it's a numbers game and blah, blah, blah. And by the way, people are not numbers, but it is a numbers game. But I'm not saying people are numbers, just so you know. And that is a quote actually from a cool lady in this book. We've got 17 go for no stories in here, which is really, really cool. And thanks, Joe, for the minors piece in the book. Yeah. Anyway, so you just make it a game, and when you do that, your feelings about rejection, because ultimately it comes down to how we feel, you guys. And if we're not feeling good, if we're not feeling positive, if we're not feeling like what we're doing matters, and if we're not feeling that that the rejections aren't that they're not the end of the process, right? If you feel like a no is the end, if you feel like no is death, if you feel like the rejections mean that you won't be successful, then it's so easy to slow down and stop and quit, right? Because you just don't feel good about it. If you can start feeling good about them, if you start making the connection between getting those rejections, feeling okay, and start to feel good, then what happens is your confidence builds, and it just builds. And so the rejections don't have the power over you like they do sometimes if you're really feeling bad about them. We talk about that a little bit in the book, about getting off the yes-no emotional roller coaster, not getting so emotionally tied into whether someone says yes or no. It's really about getting a little bit more dispassionate and not letting those emotions rule your life. The emotions won't rule your life when you start thinking differently and you start feeling differently about those no's. So anyway, it was super fun being with you guys today. And if anybody has any questions, there's always so much I love to cover. If you have any questions, I have a Facebook page, Go for No, and lots of notivation. And in fact, if you go to my Facebook page today, it says Go for Yes, but it is April Fool's, so I had to do it. I had to, do Go for Yes. We do want yeses, right? We do want yeses. It's all about yes, but it's not about being the sleazy salesperson that we all hate, the pushy, aggressive, manipulative salesperson that we all hate. You guys are welcome. It's about doing it in a positive, empowering way, letting people say no for themselves, understanding that no is a perfectly acceptable answer, and that your business can be successful. You can have an amazing business, have an amazing life. You can totally thrive, and you can do it, with lots of rejections, and eventually you just get a ton of yeses. So thanks all of you so much for being here. I appreciate all the comments and the smiley faces and all of that. Yes, come get some motivation, Kimberly, and Patrick. Thank you for asking. Thank you for having me. And I wish you guys all the best. Have a great weekend. Take care.